Not a bad spot to make a video. And today I'm going to ask the question, can you trust a YouTube reviewer? So what's to stop us taking money from companies to only say nice things about their products? I know it's something that a lot of you are concerned about, so here's my take on things. So earlier on I was scrolling through some of the comments on my videos and there were a few remarks that really hit home when it comes to some of my content. So as you know, I'm a little bit of a gear junkie and I show lots of products, and every time I say something positive about a tent or a sleeping pad, somebody has to say, how much did they pay you to say that? And then if I say something bad about the product, they say, how much is the competitor paying you to say that? So sometimes, no matter what my opinion is, I know I'm not going to win. And I know it's some people just having a dig, but is there an element of truth to it? So I thought we could have a good conversation about the ethics of being a YouTube reviewer. Ooh, that's better. So there have always been mainstream establishments and companies that have reviewed outdoor products. Things like the TGO magazine, Outside magazine, they get sent products by manufacturers and they're hoping that they get the Tent of the Year award or whatever it would be. But now there are some new kids on the block that are independent individuals that do reviews of their own on platforms such as Instagram and my playground, which is YouTube. So back in the old days, if you wanted to find out about a product, then you would have to go and buy the TGO magazine or just jump in and buy it and test it for yourself. But now if you want some info on the latest jet boil, you just do a YouTube search and there's dozens of videos with reviews and people's opinions on the latest products. But because we're all independent, we're just sort of writing our own rules and hoping that we're doing the right thing. And most of the time, I think that's the case. So here on YouTube, there are a set of guidelines that you have to follow when doing any sort of marketing on your videos. And most of the points are around disclosure, so you're fully aware when there's some kind of advertisement involved. And having those rules is a good thing because you, as a viewer, you deserve to know when something is an advertisement rather than something that is portrayed as being more organic. But the powers that be aren't very good at enforcing the rules, unfortunately. So you need to be very careful about what is actually a paid advert as opposed to a genuine, honest review. So with that in mind, I'm going to tell you exactly how I run things on my channels. So the first thing, I never have and never will do a paid review of a product on any of my channels. And secondly, I'll never give a manufacturer a prior view of my content before it goes live. What they see is what you see for the first time that it's released. And I always say what I think of the product, be it good or bad, no matter what the brand or company is. Also, I want to make it crystal clear what a review is. A lot of the time, I'll show products that I've just received through the post. I'll give you a look at it and I'll show some specs. And then in the comments, I'll get, great review, Paul. Well, I've barely used it, so you can't say that that is a review. It's just an initial look or overview of that bit of gear. So from where I'm standing, a review is an evaluation of a product based on its use. So you can figure out whether you should buy it or not. That evaluation is based on me using the product, my experiences with it, and any other recommendations that I can give. So in other words, not every gear video is a review video. So a sponsored video will also never be a review video. Now, doing sponsored videos is a necessity when it comes to me as a YouTuber. I can't rely on AdSense payments alone. So there are two ways in which I work with sponsors and brands. So first, there are sponsored segments of a video, and secondly, there are brand collaborations. So sponsored segments are something that you should be quite familiar with in my videos, and you're going to see one right now. So a big thanks to Squarespace for sponsoring today's video. So as a YouTuber, it's really important for me to have a good quality website, and that's where Squarespace comes in. When we first set up our website, we had no idea about web design or coding. But Squarespace have got these ready-made templates, and all you have to do is drop in a few photos, add a bit of text, and then move things around a little bit. And I'd created a website within just a couple of hours. So if I can do it, you definitely can. So we use the website pretty much every day to do things like process orders, check on the analytics, and do things like upload the latest video to the homepage. So the whole platform is super intuitive and pretty easy to use. However, if you do ever get stuck, there are some online tutorials, and they've also got a 24-hour care line. So if you want to have a go at making a website of your own, then click the link in the description below, or head over to squarespace.com/, Paul Messner. You'll get a totally free trial and then 10% off your first purchase. So that is what a sponsored segment looks like, and I do get paid for that. However, any sponsored segment that I do, and there's literally a handful, they are handpicked by me, and they are products that I use. And as you've seen, there's always full disclosure when I do a sponsored video. So the second thing that I do are brand collaborations. These tend to be when I need the assistance of a company in order to make a specific type of video. A good example of this is my recent RAB tour video. Without the help of RAB or the invitation to go up there, I wouldn't have been able to show you that content. So you wouldn't have been able to see what actually happens in their factory. So another example of this is when a company might send me a product a couple of weeks before its release date. So I can test it out, put it through its paces, and then have a video out for you to see it on its launch date. So brand collaborations are necessary in order to be able to make this kind of content. But more importantly, none of this kind of collaboration is paid for by the brand. So these kind of collaborations give me the opportunity to film some unique situations. So they can make for better videos, and I can make whatever video I want. These kind of videos will always remain unpaid. It's more about the unique opportunities for me. So just to give you some perspective, I must have had at least 30 offers of sponsorship in the last week, and it's for a variety of different products, from power stations to massagers. So the reality is I could have 2 or 3 sponsored videos every week, and I could be ka-chinging it. However, that's not why I'm making the videos. Obviously I do want to earn a living, but I want to make videos about products that I get excited about. So going back to what I said at the beginning of the video, if I think something is good, I genuinely think it's a good product. And if I think something's bad, I genuinely don't like it. I'm just going to say exactly as it is. So usually there's pros and cons with all gear, and I'm more than happy to point out both the pros and cons. And I've got no concerns at all about my relationship changing with brands just because of something that I say about one of their products. So all the companies know in advance that I'm going to say it as it is, and most of them embrace the feedback and use it to help make their products better. So I'm very fortunate that I don't rely on brands to send me camping gear to review. So I don't feel like I've got to be the first person to show a specific bit of gear. Yeah, it's nice to be sent something a little bit early, but if I've got to wait a couple of weeks and then buy it myself, then I'm more than happy to do that. So I only show gear on the channel that I want to show. I very often get sent items that never even make it to the camping gear shelf. Probably realise that I'm quite passionate about my camping gear and that I'm quite particular on the gear that I want to show. But on reflection, there's one thing that I really do need to start and be a little bit more clear about, and that is letting you know whether something's actually been sent to me free of charge or whether I bought it myself. So the majority of the stuff that you do see is actually bought myself. Everyone seems to assume that because I'm a YouTuber, they get sent everything for free. I'll refer again to the RAB factory tour. I came away with a few freebies, a sleeping bag, a micro down jacket and a beanie. But I've had no end of comments about my RAB tent and this jacket saying more freebies, another paid advertisement, and that simply isn't the case. I guess people are always going to put 2 and 2 together and come up with 5, aren't they? So I have mentioned before in videos that I have been sent a specific bit of gear from a manufacturer, but going forward, if I do put a focus on a particular product, then I am going to make it quite clear whether it's something that I bought myself or it has been sent to me by the brand. And when it comes to certain products, you can actually say I'm a little bit biased. Yeah, of course you can, because we all have our own favourite brands, whether it is RAB or whether it's a certain supermarket that you shop in. We all have our own little biases. But what you can't accuse me of is being paid off for a positive review. That is just never going to happen. At the end of the day, I'm going to say exactly what I think of a product, whether I like it or not. Oh, and while I'm at it, I often get accused of not using certain types of brands. It's just that I haven't got around to it yet. There's only so many different things I can look at. So it's not that I'm dissing them before I've even tried them. I just haven't got there yet. There's so many different products out there, and I tend to focus on the things that I'm really enthusiastic about. The million-dollar question: can you trust my gear reviews? Well, I hope so, and I think it's an important question for you to consider. At the end of the day, you as a subscriber or viewer shouldn't just take the opinions of one person when it comes to choosing a specific bit of gear. Some of it can be quite expensive and quite an investment. So you should really delve a little bit deeper and find the opinions of more than one person and go and do some of the research of your own. Get as much information as you can, and that way you can make a more informed decision when it comes to buying your camping gear. But remember to do your homework. You don't always know the ethical stance when it comes to individual reviewers. Some of them might be getting paid to say what you want to hear. But if you get a broad spectrum of opinions, I don't think you'll go far wrong.